Hello everybody, this is Sherry at djsundry.blogspot.com, and I have had a lot of fun learning how to use the Cricut Design Studio. I'm definitely not a pro. I have a lot to learn, but it has been fun learning. Now, I want to address a question that was posted on YouTube a few days ago, maybe a week or so, about this stuff I have on my desk. Somebody asked me, they had seen it kind of on the outskirts of a video, and asked me what these little samples are. This is just a container I picked up at a local thrift store. It's getting pretty dusty, and I had a cup that fit inside of it that I keep my pens in. And then clipped to the side I have these swatches, and what these swatches are, and I actually need to do one more set because I at this point have 5 Imagine cartridges. And what I've done is I have gone through each Imagine cartridge, and I got this tip from My Pink Stamper here on YouTube, but I went through each of my Imagine cartridges, and this is Imagine More, and of the all the printed papers on it, I cut a 3x3 inch square. I just used the autofill on the base that's cut. It's like a circled square. I mean like a corner rounded square. And I cut each of the pattern papers and filled that square at 3x3, and then at 2x2 I went in and pulled all of the colors that particular cartridge will print. And I did that for each of my Imagine cartridges. I don't have a lot of Imagine cartridges right now, but that allows me, if I'm looking for a paper that I can't find in all of the paper stashes I have, I can go through my Imagine cartridges, and it's quicker to go through these swatches that are sitting here than it is to pull out each and every cartridge and their books. So this is what that is. And the reason I'm showing that to you today, besides answering the question, is it actually came in handy today because of the project. Now, this card base is from the Imagine More Cards cartridge. Now, I also use the Country Carnival cartridge, and I really like the card base on the Country Carnival cartridge, but I'm doing a masculine card, and I didn't really like any, though I like the shapes, I didn't really like any of the prints on their card base. The problem is, however, that on the Country Carnival cartridge, is nearly as I can figure, unless I haven't played with it enough and figured it out enough, those are being on the bonus features, you can't go in and change the patterns. So I went to my Imagine More cartridge, and I found this card base, which I liked, and I cut it at, it's about 5.5 inches. And then what I did, and this is one of the beauties of the Cricut Craft Room, is I went in and I went back to the Country Carnival cartridges and found patterns that I thought would go on my masculine card, and I replaced each panel from the Imagine More cartridge with a panel, I filled it with a pattern from the Country Carnival. So this is going to be the outside of my card, and I've already scored it. So let's just grab the bone folder, which I found. I had said it had gotten buried when I was doing a previous project. And this is going to be our base. And it'll actually probably go like this. Then I went, and I'll set this aside, and I cut a second one. And this time I used the same stripes and prints from the Country Carnival cartridge, but I wanted something light for inside, and I just didn't find one that I liked from the Country Carnival cartridge. So I went back into the Imagine More and pulled one of their solid colors to do my base. I have to say, I printed these, but my Imagine mat wasn't very sticky, and when it went to take it back through, it kept all of my card bases. It kind of pushed it right off the mat, so I ended up hand cutting these because I wasn't going to wait. It takes quite a while for the Cricut Craft Room to transmit the information to the Imagine, and I wasn't going to wait again, and I wasn't going to waste the printing or the cardstock. So that's where we are, and that's where this kind of has a little bit of a rough line. So let's start with the inside of the card first, and this is how it would coordinate here. And I'm going to flip it like this, and I want this side to, I want them to be opposite. Now I cut this, this was cut at 5.5, and then it adjusted the width to match the height. And on the inside, I cut it at 5.3 because I want a little bit. It will mean that there will be a little bit of white showing, and I'm okay with that. But if it was the exact same size, there would probably be some issues with folding the card, and I just wanted to avoid those issues. So I can deal with a little bit of white. It's kind of like we frame it. I could go back and distress it if I chose to. I probably won't for this card. I think it's going to be okay. So there is that one. Then let's come back over to the side and put the stripe one, which will be backing the blue. Now my sentiment is actually going on the inside of the card because I have something fun planned for the outside. Okay, so again, we've got a little bit of white showing there. So let's go ahead and stamp the sentiment. I have chosen 3 different stamp sets to get the sentiment I want. The first one is from Kandra Designs Fashionable Friends, and this one's a lot of fun. It says, "Kick up your heels." And this is the first time I've actually used this particular stamp, but you will see why that will be fun in just a minute. So let's put that on the bottom here. Kick up your heels. And again, that's from the Fashionable Friends. And then from Allyhoo, I have a happy. Again, this is a birthday card. I think after this birthday card, I'm all caught up, at least for a couple of weeks. And then I have another birthday coming up later in the month. But at least I'm not behind anymore. I'll be all caught up with what needs to be done. And then from Coffee and Tea from You and Me, also from Kandra Designs, I've got my birthday. I'm just going to kind of nestle that right over here. And it says, "Happy birthday, kick up your heels." So there we go. There's the base there. And we are almost done with the inside of our card. And you know, the more I look at that, the more I'm not really loving that white. And I think I have just the thing to fix it. But let's get the base adhered first. Okay. So bear with me for a second while I grab something. Let's see. Let's go with... Let me find my frayed burlap distress ink. I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm back. I found my frayed burlap distress ink, and I've already done most of it, and it just kind of softened up that white and made it blend in a little bit. There's a little bit more I want to do because I even did it between the 2 edges here. And what I want to do, what I want to show you is what I just kind of blended that frayed burlap into the center of my card, and that kind of creates almost its own little frame so that I can go back and when I do my sentiment, it'll be framed. So the inside's complete. It says, "Happy birthday, kick up your heels." And we're going to just close that up just like that. And actually, I want to close it this way. And then we've got the blue to the opposite sides of the stripe. And then I also cut these pieces from the Country Carnival cartridge. And that I am going to adhere right on the edge of the card, just like that. And what I want to do is I just want to make a light pencil mark or a pen mark right at the edge, because I don't want to go too far with my adhesive. I don't want it to stick to each other, but I want it to be far enough that it doesn't fall apart either. So we'll just adhere that on. Just like that. Okay, and there's my frame. And then, and I still went over just a tad. That's okay. Okay, and then what I did is I got this cowboy boot, also from the same cartridge, and then the letter P, because This card is for my brother, and his first name is Philip. So what I did is I grabbed those, and this is where I'm going to use my dimensional adhesive. And I can't tell you the size on these because what I did is I designed, set the size that I knew would fit for the frame. And then I went through the cartridge until I found the cowboy boot, and I just clicked and dragged it into the frame and then just played with the size until it was the size I wanted it to be. And then I did the same thing with the letter P. So I don't know the exact size of the inside, but this was cut at about 5 inches tall, I believe, the frame itself. And I just kind of, when I was designing it, then I tore it all apart, or I removed the layer so it wouldn't weld it together because I didn't want it welded to all be one layer. I also I had all sorts of interesting times with my Imagine tonight, but I'm really happy with the way this one turned out because this will be perfect for my brother. So we have Happy Birthday, Kick Up Your Heels, and then we have the letter P. Now I will put a little bit of an adhesive on the back and just a tiny bit after I put my message so that it won't rip when he opens it up, but so that it will stay closed. And actually I may not even do that. I'll probably just do that long enough to take the picture so that because once it's been mailed it will stay closed. So there's the card from using the Cricut Imagine. I used the Imagine More Cards cartridge and the Country Carnival cartridge and the Cricut Craft Room to design this card. So thanks for watching. If you haven't played in the Cricut Craft Room, it took me a long time to get around to getting into it, but I'm so glad I did because it's really fun, the things that you can do when you can mix and match cartridges like that. So thanks for watching and have a great day.